Was that Danny? Are you okay, man? Are you alright?
What happened? Did you?
Oh, I just stacked it.
Are you okay? Hello and welcome to 1001 Albums Before Death.
Hello.
Hello, this is your host Chris, and that was Danny, and also we have...
My phone just beeped, so I need to
Is that your
Can we
best?
start again?
Is that your best radio voice?
Yeah, I think it is.
Welcome to Drive Time.
That was Simon. We're not doing it again. That was Simon.
So far, so fast.
I'm relying heavily on your editing skills, Danny. I'm relying on you to make us sound
Right.
professional. So welcome to 1000 Albums
Hello.
Before Death. Hello, that's Danny. Today we are on episode 2 of our project to review all 1001 albums in the book 1001 Albums Before You Die, before you die. And today we're going to be talking about 3 albums: Fairport Convention's Liege and Leaf, The Birthday Party's Junkyard, and
Blondie, Parallel Lines.
Blondie Parallel Lines, which is going to be our first album. So with no further ado.
A Jew.
Is it a Jew? It's a Jew, isn't it?
A
People
Jew?
say, no further
We're
ado.
not going down that road again, so...
What road's that?
I hear people say that all the time, and I always think, are you saying that right? And I think I've just said the wrong thing.
We've just jumped from the Tory Party conference to the Labour Party conference with that comment.
First on a podcast, cause it was a lie. Listen to it back, and it sounds crap. Tried it again, and it's not right. I'm gonna give up without a fight.
New York in the late 1970s saw the influences
Jesus
of
Christ.
punk.
Wait, you've got how many
Disco.
sheets of A4
You've got
have
an
you got
essay.
there?
I've
Come
got
on.
Are you going to
notes.
read that?
I've got notes. Not all of them.
Just scan it and then tell us it from the heart.
New York in the late 1970s saw the influences of punk, disco, pop, and new wave on an underground band who had released 2 albums featuring pop-punk-inspired tracks to moderate success. With sparkling vocals and a full 5-piece rhythm and lead backing, Blondie were now a 6-piece group who were introduced to a new producer, Mike Chapman, who was charged with serving up the album Parallel Lines.
Can I just 2 interrupts there for 1 second? So the noise that everyone will be able to hear in the background now is the dog making it so.
Yeah, sorry, headphone users. That is
It's
a sound.
real. What's it called? Binaural. Is it binaural?
ADSL.
ADSL. That's it.
Oh, that thing that people...
That thing that people like.
Mm.
Yeah.
No,
Do you
ADSL
know
is...
they make like porno ADSLs now as well?
Yeah, like people eating sandwiches and stuff.
Yeah. I think it might be. Was it you telling me about that? Maybe. But anyway,
I think we discussed it last time. Because Mika came in eating food.
we cut that bit out.
Oh, that was... Oh, man, we were losing listeners, man. We need to keep... We just need to launch it. Listeners, we recorded like a 2-hour podcast last time, and we cut it down to, like 30 minutes? 57 minutes. I think we should just... Answers on votes, comments. Tell us, do you want the full length, unedited, or do you want this trimmed, professional sounding version? Let us know. Okay.
So, an album which was initially rejected by the record company, it went on to sell over 20 million and appear in an all-time great Billboard chart and produce a flight of singles. From my point of view, everything I heard in this album was just amazing. It is one of my favourite albums of all time. It definitely is a 5-star album. I must have heard it 10, 15 times before, but listening to it this time for research purposes, going through the album, I must have heard 15 different music genre influences, such as punk, rock opera, pop, 50s Americana, Gary Newman new wave, balladeering, Motown doo-wop, Iggy Pop grunge, Candy Floss Diner, Lou Reed Velvet Underground, reggae offbeat, Kraftwerk, disco funk, California surf, Buggles Ditzy.
Whoa, what's that?
Everything.
What is that?
It's a shade of Chris's lipstick.
So I'm just Googling some of the things you said just then, because I don't know. You just listed a lot of genres, and then what you just mixed in there, you said Kraftwerk, which isn't that name of a band. Are they a genre unto themselves?
Kraftwerk.
They are...
very much electronic.
Well, yeah, we go into that very shortly, but certainly in terms of what you listen to and what, give me your initial impressions.
I thought it was good.
Good.
I thought it was good as well.
Like a hillbilly goading an art critic. That was a very good inscription. Thank you. I thought, the initial opening track is Hanging on the Telephone, and it is a proper first song of an album. Like, it is an absolute, just crashing fills, just high octane pop punk energy. No real chorus, so it still follows that kind of punk thing of not really being like a conventional pop song, but it still has that kind of bubblegum, Debbie Harry kind of commercial edge, as it were. Yeah. I think that's probably where this album has really found its balance. It's something which still, even the hardest nosed punk would still admit it is a great album, but it's still it was edgy enough for your average record buyer in the 70s to think, fuck, what is this? Sorry, I swore.
Okay.
Sorry, this is but yeah, so one thing that also struck me is he's almost just single after single after single quality. There is not a weak song on this album, as it were. The producer said that this album was a band of the worst musicality and ability he'd ever seen.
Really?
Which I would challenge, because it is all every song on this album is almost like Debbie Harry has been allowed to have free reign, and she's had a different backing band in every single song. Like, so many songs just sound so different. So, for example, Robert Fripp has come in on track 4, Fade Away and Radiate, which is just a dark, brooding, psychedelic monster of a song. It's almost like they've just hired a session band to come in. It's so different, but it is the same band. Then you compare that to, say, something like 11:59, which is almost like a very conventional, almost textbook pop song, which has almost got almost a hotel lounge backing band. But then you go into Heart of Glass, which is almost like a disco Nile Rodgers epic. So the diversity of everything from the almost like Eric Clapton style and Bob Marley reggae blues inspired guitar, right through to electronica and disco Kraftwerk style amazingness. The musicality is phenomenal. And it only took 6 weeks to make this album. It is a truly inspired thing where, if you hurry people and do things on the fly, Debbie Harry was literally finishing lyrics as she picked up the microphone. How impulsive it was. And it sounds impulsive, but the producer has had a real lead here, and he has made this album. Blondie are almost a session band at that point, because they really were a New York band, according to him, in terms of they were all flash and no substance. They were very very quite lazy. Debbie Harry would go off crying in the toilets for 2 hours at a time. They weren't the most professional outfit, as it were, and I'm glad of that, because who wants to be a band to be professional? But the producer has done magic here, and has been allowed to put he's literally grabbed every genre from the 70s. Grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then just literally just put it into this amazing nucleus of this album.
It's amazing what you can do with heroin addicts, isn't it?
It is, and ex-Playboy models and so forth.
Yeah. Wait, which one's a Playboy model?
The guitar, no. It was. Debbie Harry was.
Was she really in Playboy?
Yeah, she's Playboy model.
Oh.
If you haven't Googled.
I'm just getting that right now.
Yeah. But okay, so
I was just checking in. Debbie Harry didn't get her nipples out in Playboy. She just dressed up as a bunny. Nothing rude. Let's see.
I can confirm this.
There's
no nips.
Google Images has some on-stage upskirt shots.
Playboy never used to be. It never used to be so.
It was about the articles, wasn't it?
There was. I think there were a few nips.
I think they had a specialist nip section, but mainly.
Okay, so going back to the album. So one thing about the 70s is that it was one of the most diverse periods of any album. It was where the album really matured and became an entity. I think we really see this on this album, because it has a real flow through it, and it goes from everything from this kind of ultra high octane punk pop energetic first opening track right through to almost candy floss level pop rock and roll of things like Pretty Baby and things like this. It is so the peaks and highs and troughs and lows in this album are just just remarkable. And all of it is spearheaded by Debbie Harry's phenomenal vocals, and it goes from this kind of almost angelic, wonderful operatic, almost rock opera style, right through to like a deep growling Joan Jett style, like fantastic energy coming from it. Like there is literally, they left nothing on the studio floor. It was all given out. So Chris, song of the album.
Song of the album for me was Heart of Glass.
Good album.
And it was a hard choice because I like this whole album. I can't pick a bad song on the album. I mean, it didn't strike me as something that I would kind of buy and listen to and keep, in my record collection. But I enjoyed the whole thing. It was interesting. It captured me. There was some variety. Debbie Harry's got a fantastic voice. I enjoyed. I'd heard some of the songs in the past, and in the way you do when you hear a song, and then you engage with it a bit more when you listen to it. So my big surprise on this was I didn't realise one way or another was a song about a girl being stalked. That's a minor thing, but that was a bit of a surprise for me. And it did get me thinking about...
Has that Every Breath You Take style darkness?
Yeah. But again, I mean, another famous song that most people, didn't
Have
know.
at their wedding.
Yeah, Have at their wedding. It's really a song about a stalker. But so that did lead me to think about song meanings and the meanings of songs, and it got me thinking about songs about stalkers and love songs, and there's a very fine line between what makes a romantic song romantic and whether or not the meanings are really romantic or whether it could fall into creepy territory.
Is this a quiz?
And so following on from last week's
yes.
George quiz, surprise quiz, I've got a surprise quiz, Sweet Talker or Stalker. I'm going to present you with several lyrics from songs, and I want you to tell me whether you think those songs are songs sung from a sweet talking romantic point of view or a stalking point of view. Sweet Talker or Stalker. Here we go. So, first lyric. I could stay awake just to hear you breathing, watch you smile while you are sleeping. Sweet Talker or Stalker?
I'm going to go Sweet Talker.
Yes, I'm going to go Sweet Talker.
Sweet Talker, yeah. It's Aerosmith, I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. Very good, yes. Next one.
Which could have equally have a double meaning.
There are, yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay. I've been alone with you inside my mind, and in my dreams I'd kissed your lips 1,000 times. I can see it in your eyes, I can see it in your smile.
You have to go with Stalker.
Sweet Talker.
Sweet Talker. I've been alone with you inside my mind, and in my dreams I've kissed your lips 1,000 times. This is a song about a teacher in love with a blind student.
It's Lionel Richie.
It's Lionel Richie, hello. It is.
Whoa, is that a stalker?
I'm pretty sure.
Sorry, rewind back. Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie, hello,
Yeah.
is a song about a teacher in love with a blind student he's never spoken to. He's pretty clearly a stalker. He's watching her and fantasising about her.
Do all stalkers have that
she,
good a hair?
Doesn't she do a mould of his face in the video?
I mean, in the video, but I mean that's Lionel Richie's video. He's.
I think this is open to interpretation here.
Okay.
Although you are the quiz master. So.
Yeah, I mean, who's to say? But I do feel that is fantasy. That is part of his fantasy. There's no way a blind girl can make a mould of anyone's face if she is blind. Therefore, that entire video, it's all in his head. He's seeing this blind girl at art college or whatever, and he's like...
Surely she's got the touch. She knows what his face feels like.
He's never met her. She's never touched his face.
Well, she might have touched his face.
She's just making a random mould, and he's interpreting it. Look, Simon, did you say it wrong?
Great music video.
Yeah, it is, yeah. It's,
Simon, you're 2, I'm on 1. So you're winning.
Okay, next one. You're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, it's true. There must be an angel with a smile on her face when she thought I should be with you.
Stalker. It's James
Oh,
Bond.
I'm going to go Sweet Talker.
It was James Bond, You're Beautiful, yeah, it's a classic stalker.
Well, big blunt fan here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Only
He sees a
joking.
girl
Only joking, he's a devil.
on the subway while he's high, he fancies her, she's got a boyfriend, he doesn't care, he's gonna...
Apparently he's someone who's very good to follow on Twitter, if you're a Twitter follower.
Oh, really?
He's got great banter.
Top bands.
Girl, love the band.
Go love the bands.
Oh, my love, my darling, I've hungered for your touch a long, lonely time.
Ooh. Sweet Talker.
And I'm going to go Stalker.
It's classic Sweet Talker, it's Unchained Melody. Simon, you're not romantic.
3-2. Yeah, please.
It's a high-scoring game at the moment.
All to play for.
I got sick. I'll do that. Yeah, sick of the bug. I'm fearing I've gone bad and won't go back.
I don't even know what that means.
Can I say rather like coming on too strong, Sweet Talker?
I think I'm going to agree, Sweet Talker.
Yeah, no, that's a Stalker song. That's Don Brocco. I got sick. It's a bit modern. Like came out a couple of years ago.
Modern.
It's about a guy who stalks a girl online and he's watching her and shit. And finally, well, I've got a few more, but let's see. Let's go with this one. Oh, can't you see you belong to me? How I put our heart aches with every step you take.
This is Stalker.
Sweet Talker.
Ask the police every breath you take.
I am.
Classic Stalker.
I am. A
You're
romantic
going to have it
at
played at
heart.
your wedding. Okay, fine. What was the
What
scores?
two? Danny wins.
Danny wins. Very good. Congrats, Danny. Stalker or Sweet Talker, whoever. Anyway.
Okay, so
That was a great quiz, by the way.
Thank you, man. There are so many creepy songs, though. Honestly, like I thought I would struggle to find creepy songs, and there'd be millions of romantic ones. Totally the other way.
Yeah.
So many songs
So
are really
maybe if
creepy.
you go further back into the sort of like the 70s and the 60s, like the amount of songs singing about like 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds.
who would have thought that rock stars would be creepy?
I know, right?
So
Have you heard the Darkness song about fancying like a schoolgirl as well? There was this on Total Guitar magazine, you know, the guitar instructional thing.
Yeah.
They used to put singles out on that occasionally as well. And the Darkness put out one about like fancying like a 14-year-old girl.
What's it called? What's that called?
I can't remember, and I've tried to find it online. I can't. I had it on one of my Total Guitar CDs, and I've been through them all, and I can't find the song. But they wrote a song and released it on Total Guitar about fancying a schoolgirl and like being in love with her, but she's not yet 16 and stuff. And then they've just like removed it from the internet, as far as I can tell. So it's well done with the Darkness.
Well, they do write comedy songs though.
They do, yeah.
It might have been a joke.
Yeah, I mean,
to be fair, Van Halen wrote Hot for Teacher, and today that would have seen her struck off and probably never been a teacher.
yeah, and also apparently the Police "Don't Stand So Close to Me" song about a teacher and a student falling in love, and Sting used to be a teacher. So yeah,
No smoke with that fire.
shit me, that was loud. Fuck.
Ah!
Whoa! Jesus Christ!
Wow.
That was not supposed to happen.
From what we talked about last week, I think you lean on the side of like giving stuff more stars, and like being like if something has to be really, really. bad,
I
so,
am
like,
hard
triple
with
one
stars,
star.
thank you very much. As you'll find out. No stars for you.
But yeah, I think I'd give it 4 stars because I thought it was good, but I probably wouldn't listen to it out of choice. But I didn't hate it, and
Maybe you just hate women.
a lot of the other stuff, like from last week, obviously, I
You just spend a lot of time with men.
I hated all of them.
To be fair, Danny does work on a submarine and
Goes
It
down.
goes
on
down
men.
on a lot of men.
Yeah.
What?
Months at a
Hello?
time.
Gets lonely.
Oh,
down
that's terrible.
yeah.
No, I it didn't. It was good. Like I got into it. Like good pop music, good pop punk, but I enjoyed it. I just didn't love it. I just didn't like 5-star. It's got a fucking
It's got to do everything.
yeah. And it was just like a good solid album.
It's
Maybe-
got, like,
maybe
it's got those moments where I don't know if you've ever had it, where you listen to a song or you listen to an album, and it gives you like shivers. It makes you
Like Coldplay?
Yeah, like Coldplay. Like Coldplay's first.
it's a different
album,
type of shiver.
which would be on my top 10 albums. of all
What?
time.
Oh really?
Wow.
Is it Parachutes?
Parachutes, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's one
I
of the
never
greatest
knew
albums
you
ever.
wet the bed. Wow.
I wet the bed with jizz. But no, it was. Some albums and songs they just give you this like sort of shot of adrenaline, and I think that's what gives you the sort of like the shivers. But it's this. I didn't get this with this album.
Yeah.
So I think we determined I have blonde jealousy.
I put my hand all in her own. The maid is a lily, oh, she said, if you love me alone, come to me quietly, do not do me injury. Gently, Johnny, my jingle.
I'm going to talk about Fairport Convention, Liege and Leaf, which is their 4th studio album, released in 1969, and it's credited as the first British folk rock album, which, not to be confused with the first American folk rock album,
No.
first British folk rock album, released on Island Records. And we're sort of talking. This is the time when the Beatles were releasing like Sgt. Pepper. Bob Dylan was starting his electric foray.
So what year was this album released?
1969. So it's basically at the end of the 60s when everyone was starting to go into more explorative music avenues. So like prog was starting to take off. You had like King Crimson, Yes, we're starting that sort of. We were moving into like a very exciting time. In
Elements of progressive and psychedelia.
Yeah, that's right.
Sort of journeys.
And this was the first album for Fairport Convention where they took the real sort of root traditional ballads, like traditional folk ballads, Celtic and British, and just ran with it. Just took it into that sort of electric folk world.
Call me gushing, but I thought this album was fantastic. It was brilliant. I mean, it had everything you think of when you think of this kind of like Celtic jig. Almost parts of it went from almost elven-like tranquility through to stomping electric hoedown. I think it had just everything between. It had like almost this kind of scenic Gaelic romance through to say like Saturday night pub jig music. It was everything you wanted from a country folk album.
Yeah.
Big fan.
See, so I've heard this album before. I've discovered it like it must have been 7 or 8 years ago, and I really enjoyed it. I was going through a massive sort of folk rock thing at the time.
What caused that?
I don't know.
Were you lost, or
It's just
did you get tired of Spice Girls, or was it?
I got one can never tire of the Spice Girls, but yeah. So I found out about Fairport Convention and like bands like Pentangle.
Bertie Ench and people like that.
Getting into that sort of fight, and like at the time, Island Records would like pushing some really cool music. So like Nick Drake was coming through at the time as well, and that's like super cool. But this album, yeah. So I enjoy this album, but again, I think you could only really give it 4 stars out of 5 stars, because you could argue that every song is probably about 2 minutes too long, because you get into it and you get into a rhythm and then you're sort of like, oh yeah, this is cool, and then it just keeps going.
Well, the thing is, you've got 2 ideas here. One idea is that you're listening to this music, let's say for example in a pub or something like that, where time of music is not really the essence, it's the atmosphere in which you're listening to it. And the other end is listening to this on a CD or like vinyl, and you know, you're probably noticing the time more at home. Which is correct?
I don't know. I think it's, if you're starting to think about the time.
Not that I'm saying all Gaelic music should be listened to in a pub.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
That's wrong. Yeah.
So, and I understand that they're not songs as we sort of have it now. They're stories, and the story has to finish. The story has to have an end. So, if you started off at a certain tempo and etc., you need to continue it to the end, and it'll take a certain amount of time to complete the story. And if it's a traditional songs have a certain number of verses, which they're going along with, so that they're taking that. But I think if you're going to do that, the music can change as well. And I do feel like they find like a really cool idea.
Do you think
and they just stick to it?
Do you think that they had that
change it?
Maybe the texture of the music though, they actually had a huge band sound. They had like Gaelic drum, they had fiddle, they had guitar. Phenomenal vocals, phenomenal. Like again, very Joni Mitchell-esque. Really, again, that amazing kind of tranquility in the voice, but power.
Yeah, Sandy Denny is an amazing singer, and they really struck gold with her. They did.
They were almost like a supergroup, like a folk supergroup, in that respect. Where it stands in the world of folk and acoustic music, I mean, it's almost without rival. I mean, again, Pentangle will probably be the major band of the day. But in terms of an album in itself, I mean, what other album really compares to it?
I don't know. Highway 61? I mean, it's that type of thing.
Having to go to another country.
Yeah,
we've
exactly. But it's
and Bob Dylan was more of a troubadour style, like folk singer going across the railway in America. Yeah. Very different feel. Again, great artist. But this as an ensemble, I thought this had like everything.
Yeah,
I probably wouldn't give it 5 stars because it just didn't have the, maybe just from a personal point of view, the stuff that I look for in an album in terms of maybe like, you know, the jingle.
I don't forget the drama.
Or a foot, or a foot on monitor in helicopter above, sort of.
Did it not
grandiose.
Take you to another place though?
Yes, it
absolutely.
Does. And I think if you were on drugs, it would be an amazing album.
This album, sitting down with headphones, listening to this, chilling out on an evening, like this took me to this.
It is a Sunday evening type of album.
It made me want to change my life. It made me want to live a different life. It made me want to. And it's just so perfectly arranged as well. Like the first, I mean, I kind of feel like there was 2 halves to the album, but the first half it just opened with "Come All You People." Is it the first?
Yes, it's almost like an Irish trucker song.
Yeah,
it's that.
Oh man, like that song, it's just. I mean, obviously, like the theme of it is like, come on, like everyone get involved. But like, it was like I was like, yeah, I want to get involved, and it's just so welcoming and warming, and it's just, and it brings you in. And
listeners, we are doing this podcast at the height of the 2019 election.
Yeah, the height
and
of
I like to think this is a call to arms.
Oh man, I mean, it made me just want to be living in a village and live my life in one place and never leave and never see anyone else. But
welcome to Leeds.
But that's the thing. That idea, that like what I just said there, it sounds so isolationist and so all national, all those things that you would associate with that kind of idea. But you can be that and be warm and friendly and cultured and like.
Do you mean to say that it had like a village or sort of like mindset of the song?
It's got an idea.
It was jaunty.
It was jaunty, yes. But it's not just the jauntiness. It had a genuine warmth that made me. One of the things that I feel about like my life and the country I live in, you know, I think like English people, like we've lost our culture. We don't necessarily have, because of the Industrial Revolution, and you know we had this kind of like this history, and then everyone moved to the towns, and now we're city people, and the culture was around, you know, labour movement, you know, the working class. It was about labour and about working for big organisations, and now that's gone. And now our generation, we have kind of grown up in this culture of our culture is Saturday night TV and takeaways and
Instagram
and getting pissed in the pub or staying in the house and watching Netflix. And like we're this culturally isolated generation, and this album is just like it just made me feel that like it made me wistful for this. That was one of the dogs. Was that one of the dogs?
That was pointed at me. That was aggressive. It's got a nose to it.
Was that Camber or was that Danny? That was Camber. So. Sorry, listeners. But yeah, that's Danny's. Guys, what do you think? Am I being crazy? Like,
I know what you mean, and I think that's why I got into sort of the folk thing when a few years ago, because it does have that warmth to it. It does have that sort of,
but it has a rawness to it.
It's honest music.
It's almost like you could have played the same music back in 1819. You know, it would have still sounded very similar. The same instruments, the same starlet singer. Yes, apart from the guitar, but it still would have had the same starlet singer, that same atmosphere in any like local inn or tavern. And it still would have had the same, as you say, the same storytelling feel.
And this music is designed to be performed. This is a recording of folk music. Folk music is like the classic perform live. Small group of people get together, play music, everyone sings along, everyone has a good time.
You say that though, but this is that like the height of the album. Like the Beatles and the Beach Boys are in their sort of they're in their almost sort of duel of who's going to have the greatest album of all
You've got
time.
Hendrix coming out.
Yeah.
You've got. I mean, the
bar has been set pretty high, so you can't just walk into a studio and say, "I'm just going to record something I will do live." You need to. They sort of need to be pushing the boundaries a bit more.
So, what do you mean?
So the album, the album as a whole is being pushed. It's being pushed to its limits at the time. So why would a band go into? Why would it have to? So you're saying about the great feel about it should be performed live. It's music to be performed live. But if you're recording it, it's something else. It's a different entity. Surely that's something that should be written to work as an album, to work there, and then the live thing is something different.
Well, I okay, I get what you're saying. I think that is the magic of this, because it's music that would traditionally be played in a small venue live, but they've recorded it and they've done it. Well, to be honest, I couldn't put my finger on what it is that they've done differently that makes it work in a recording. I'm not sure why it works so well in a recording, because like folk music generally, maybe it relies on that live element and that.
There's a certain amount of improvisation like jazz or like blues would have, and it still uses like maybe not formulaic, but it still has that kind of template that any like a 12-bar blues or like a jazz turnaround would have. I think also the elephant in the room here is the folk music at the time was also quite fashionable is the wrong term, but there was a certain drive towards that with things like Led Zeppelin's first album and things like Black Mountain Side, which was almost a cover of Bert Jensch's sort of sound. What was it about the late 60s where people were looking towards this kind of not nostalgic, but this kind of this authenticity and naturalistic idea of folk music?
You could argue it's just naturalistic authenticity in anything, because if you got maybe the culture at the time, or the counterculture as it was, with like Timothy Leary pushing LSD to the world, people were looking for nice, happy things.
We've just sent
engrossed in
69. We've just sent a man onto the moon. The liberalisation laws of abortion have just been passed. We're about to pass the law to legalise homosexuality. There is a huge cultural modernisation happening, and maybe a lot of people just liked the idea of, a more innocent age. Is that
maybe?
I'm just like you just mentioned two things: Timothy Leary and homosexuality, like legalisation of homosexuality. Like those two like general concepts, I feel like there's this void of like 100, 200 years where like during the Industrial Revolution, our culture was ripped out from under our feet, where drugs and the use of whatever substances that people would only use, be it alcohol or mushrooms or plants. I mean, LSD obviously wasn't a thing back then, but that was part of life. It was part of something that you would do as part of your coming of age. And homosexuality in small communities, it was probably frowned upon or ignored or hidden. But like the idea of like going to prison
enjoyed
or illegal, or you got sent to a mental institution for it.
Yeah, but it probably wasn't pursued, and like I mean, yeah, maybe it was a mental issue or whatever. But all these things that were kind of brought under rule of law and under the thumb, and it was all like trying to make people, make the country homogenous, and everyone's got to fit into this box, and everyone's got to act a certain way, and that's what this album plays into for me. It had that feeling of welcoming and of, look, this is the old way, this is the way things used to be, and it's not gone, it's still there. We've got access to it, and
but it also has a very open feel to it. So it's not as if it's saying like, we want an old age where there wasn't homosexuality. It's more the fact that it's looking towards like the human spirit coming into coming to roost, as it were. It's not trying to say we reject the modern world, but it's trying to say let's also keep the spirit of that kind of small village mentality and kind of a humanist philosophy almost. It's not trying to be rejectionist of anything.
And it's not all welcoming either. Like, I mean, there's like, I can't remember which song it is, but there's a song about some woman. It's called
Matty Groves.
Matty Groves, yeah. and like adultery, and then the husband comes home and kills the guy and kills the woman. Like, you know, it's not. I'm not sure how that would play in the legal sense, but again, it's just like that idea of like natural justice. And I'm not saying that is necessarily just, but that is not our modern way of seeing the world. But yet here, it's just told as a story, and it's just there's no judgment imposed on it. High point and low point on the album.
I thought, how'd you say it? Reynardine.
Yes.
Was
Reynardine,
absolutely the most incredible. It's almost like it could have been from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
In some kind of very dramatic, very poetic scene with some elven princess doing something. It was absolutely beautiful to listen to. It takes you away to like some picture of some Irish beach somewhere with a fiddle player looking over from the cliff face, and you could. It was. It had a grand scale to it, and absolutely song of the album.
Cool. Yeah. Any low points?
No low. Oh, absolutely not low points. I think the only one thing maybe it was missing was, I don't know, some sort of kind of crazy guitar solo or something where
There was a few cool guitar solos.
well, a little nod maybe to I don't know, the modern world or something. But as an album, I give it a 4 because it had so many absolutely beautiful moments in it. But it, from a personal point of view, again, it didn't maybe float my boat as much as maybe I'm just too much of a rock man. I don't know. It was
For me, this was 5. This is what, and again, I'm going to be quite stingy with my 5s as I go through this, but this album made me feel something, and like if I think of albums that make me feel something, I could probably point to maybe 20 albums that I can think of if I had a good thought about it. And this album really made me feel wistful, and I wasn't even, I was just no expectations on the album. I wasn't drunk. I was just sat listening to it, and I was like, man, this makes me
one of the few albums you weren't drunk to.
Yeah, one of the few albums I've listened to sober.
Which is difficult as an alcoholic.
Yes, as a homebrewer and an alcoholic, it really does meld quite well. But yeah, so it was on my top song. I think "Come All Ye." I mean, it was the opening track, but it just set the tone, and it really drew me in. And so yeah, and low point. I struggle to pull out a low point. Possibly, like in the morning, the instrumental in the middle. Yeah, it was good, but that was all. But yeah, great album, 5 stars. Danny?
5 stars. Wow. Yeah, I like to say 4 stars for me. It's a really good album. It's interesting. It's something a bit different, but it just lacked that finesse of drama.
Yeah, drove all the way up to Urban with one of my ex-girlfriends.
Drove.
Yeah, drove all the way. I mean,
The same road goes literally next to the railway track.
does it really?
Yeah.
The sleeper train.
No, we got. It was about. I think it was 6 hours there, 7 hours there, but it was the most beautiful journey.
It was
From here.
Amazing journey from Leeds. Yeah.
It was a beautiful drive. The road is fantastic.
Do you know what? It's 70 quid. I think it was £70 each return.
I bought the cum wagon for that journey.
The cum wagon.
Yeah, my old car had its number plate ended in cum, C-U-M, and it was brilliant. Well,
I think you should show the picture.
everywhere I went, yeah, I'll dig it up. Everywhere I went, like I could constantly in my rearview mirror see like school children and adults like pointing at my car, going and laughing, like, "Oh, it's just
Taking
cum."
pictures of it.
Yeah. I'm probably on Instagram like 100 times, but there was this one time where I used to drive me and Simon to Caboodle, and I pulled up and someone had like thrown a yogurt pot in the road. And unknowingly, I drove over it, and the yogurt pot exploded and sent a spurt of yogurt out behind the tailpipe, the exhaust pipe in my car.
Imitating that.
Excellent.
Yeah, the cum wagon. It's pretty cool.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, I got it scrapped a couple of years ago, unfortunately. Okay, time for album 3, The Birthday Party. Guys, had you, just out of interest, no comments, had you heard this album before we decided to review it?
Yes, well, I listened to it on
You listened to it
my
yourself,
journey
didn't you?
of 1001 albums.
Did you listen to the whole album?
Yes, I did. I make a pointed thing of listening to the entire album.
Wow.
Well done.
Brave.
The Birthday Party were an Australian post-punk band active from 1978 to 83. In 1980, the Birthday Party moved from Melbourne to London, where they were championed by John Peel. The band's live shows were known for their violence, with band members fighting each other and occasionally assaulting members of the audience. The music drew from blues, free jazz and rockabilly, apparently, with Nick Cave's disturbing tales of death, violence and perversion. They broke up after relocating to West Berlin in 1983, with singer-songwriter Nick Cave, Mick Harvey and Roland S. Howard going on to acclaimed careers. The 1001 album's book describes their music as psychotic sleaze blues and says the chaos of the band's offstage activities, which, by the way, included stealing cars, selling drugs, breaking into houses and all that kind of stuff. The chaos of the band's offstage activities is mirrored in the raw and powerful music, which often sounds as though each member is playing a different song to the others. How astute. So, Birthday Party. Simon, your thoughts?
I can't believe this album came from a band from a sunny country. It was... I don't want to be cruel, but they're shit. Really shit. It was almost anti-music. It was a band so self-indulgent to the extreme. There is literally nothing to pick out from this. I gave this a 2 out of 5.
Why?
You say it's shit and it's not music, and
What's
you still give it a
worse
2.
than this?
What do you give it?
Believe it or not, there is worse.
Danny farted earlier. We've got that on record.
I did not fart. That was the dog.
The reason
too much.
okay, we're already jumping to a rating, but the reason I gave it 2 is because it still has instruments being played in a semi-organised manner. 2 out of 5 means poor. 1 out of 5 is literally empty. So that is reserved for a really special case. I think I gave... Fortunately, on the entire 1001 albums, I gave 1 star to something like 5 albums.
Can you name one? Yeah.
Bitches Brew.
Ooh.
You gave Bitches Brew 1, but you gave this 2.
Yeah.
You're a monster.
So yeah, I feel like this album does. Every single person who's ever said this album has any value is either an idiot or they're attempting to project themselves as someone who knows something about music that you don't because they've got a deeper understanding. It's fucking shit. It's arrogance without any meaning to us. And I guarantee if Nick Cave hadn't gone on to develop into what he's become today, which I'm still not sure I value, but Nick Cave is now a thing in music. Like there's a lot of people who respect him and think he has important contributions to make. If he hadn't, no one would talk about the Birthday Party.
This is clearly anger and this kind of almost nihilistic dystopian idea personified in music.
But it's punk taken to the extreme.
It is almost distilled essence of punk.
Yeah, because punk, the whole point of punk was to go against what prog was doing to music. Prog was so self-indulgent, prog was so rich, and it was just too much. It was almost like a super rich fruitcake, and then punk wanted to take it to an oatcake after that. And punk did that, but then Nick Cave and his merry men decided...
Punk was stripped down. Punk was stripped down to its almost garage essence.
But it was anti-establishment.
It was very, yeah.
Music industry. It was anti-music. And this then took it further than that and took it to a point where it was just awful.
John Peel's got a lot to answer for.
Yeah, and I that's what I thought.
God bless his soul.
As soon as I knew, as soon as John Peel's name came into this, I was like, brilliant. Here we go. Another thing to say. Anything John Peel put his name to was a crock of shit. He just to me, John Peel put his name to the worst sound that was coming out of the radio at the time, or the worst sound that you listened to live at the time.
Do you know, it's really interesting you say that.
People idolise him.
I was talking about John Peel the other day to Vicky. When I was like 14, 15, I used to listen to the Radio 1 Rock Show because I got into rock and metal. And like, it was, like, there's been this like resurgence of rock and metal, and now, yeah, it's on at like 8 PM on a Tuesday or something. But back in the day, it was on, I think it was on 12 PM till 2 AM. So I used to stay up until 12 o'clock and then like hit record on my tape recorder and record the show because it was on a Tuesday night and so I had school the next morning. So then I'd have the tape and I'd listen to the tape on my way to school, on my way to college. And John Peel was on before Mary and Hobstown on the Rock Show, and sometimes I'd go to bed early, so I'd like hit record at 11:30, and I'd have half an hour of John Peel, and I did. Those were the occasions when I heard John Peel play, and I was like, so I've listened to John Peel before he died, and I was just like, this is shit, and I just fast forward through it because it was full of bullshit. And when I get to Mary and Hobbs, and she played good rock music and good rock and metal and punk and all sorts, and then there was. The guy, I've forgotten his name, the guy who went on to become a fireman, he did the punk show. But yeah, John Peel, fucking, like, and now everyone talks about John Peel like he's this legend, but I listened to his show and it's just crap. So yeah, I'm glad you said that because I was talking about it and saying like, oh my god, I really wish I could go back and listen to John Peel and listen to how amazing he was, and I could have been part of that. But yeah, you've just confirmed my opinion to me that I actually wasn't wrong. My 15-year-old self, my 14-year-old self was there was a grain of truth in my impression back then. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
so this is where I was going to counteract and say, here's why John Peel was a genius.
Really, really brutally honest question here, and I'll answer it first. Have you ever talked about a band to people, or a genre of music, but I'm going to say a band, that you know they're not going to like because you want them to know that you like it? I'm going to admit, I've done this in the past. So like, in my younger days, when I was like getting into metal, I'd sometimes like play a band. Like, I remember playing Dillinger Escape Plan to people when I knew they wouldn't like it because I wanted them to know that I liked it, because I thought, in my stupid, immature way, they would think I'm edgy and cool for liking such an extreme band. Now, I do like Dillinger, but my motivation for playing Dillinger to those people was because I wanted to shock them and make them think I was cool.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what, like...
Everyone has done that.
There's a band, I can't remember what they were called, but there was... Yeah, I've done that.
And somebody called
you found the most extreme thing that you can think of.
Because you want them to be like, oh my god, you want, in their head, you're like, they're going to have a conversation. Chris is into some crazy
Is this
shit.
the annoying early 1980s sort of philosophy students band he brings to the party?
And that's what I'm saying.
And he puts it on, he's like, oh, do you like the birthday party? Oh, they're just amazing, did you know?
Exactly that.
Tarquin and Quentin love it.
We've all done it.
Yeah.
We're wankers.
I know, because I've fucking done it and I've done it way too much, and someone called me out on it and I was like, do you know what? I am being a twat. I'm going to stop talking about that band, trying to impress you. Yeah, and that's what this is.
So at best, a mixed album for you?
Yeah. Mixed, as in, if you mean mixed as in, like, the time I stuck my hand in a blender and lost my fingers. Mixed, yeah. It's a painful, awful experience, and I hate anyone who likes this. I'm going to dislike. I'm going to probably not like that person. So, I mean, yeah, 1 star. This is a classic. This is a solid. Is 0 on the scale of 0 to 5? 1 to 5? It's a 0.
Not really, because it's a scale of 1 to 5.
I'm going to make a special case. This is a 0. This album is the worst. This defines the bottom of the scale.
I think you need to listen to more albums on this list. So I would say to that. Okay, so to wrap it up, we have had...
Danny's left the room.
Yeah.
Danny
we have had Blondie Parallel Lines, which we all thought was a great album.
Yeah.
And
a nice album.
Is a real lexicon in the pop-punk annals of the world. We've had Liege and Leaf, which was defined as a tranquil, elven, barn-stomping, Gaelic jig,
making us feel
ruckus.
something.
And we've had The Birthday Party, which was a vacuous sense of dystopian hatred and...
philosophy student up their own arse, wankers.
D-grade, failing class, awfulness.
Yeah.
And I think...
Cheers.
Danny, have you got anything to add to our wrap up?
Yes, I do.
Summary.
I've got a quiz.
Oh, yes!
Second quiz of the night.
Save us, Danny. Save us with your quiz.
And it's all to do with the album Junkyard.
Oh.
The album Junkyard got me thinking about trash, as the Americans call it. I was thinking we should have a quiz about what is trash and what is treasure. So, let's play Trash or Treasure. First one, flushable wipes.
Evil. Neither. Terrible.
Trash or treasure?
Well, I mean, trash.
They're almost by definition trash. So I'm going to go trash.
But I'm sorry. I'm gonna. I don't even call them trash because they get flushed and it's trash. But then it's pollution and fucking bullshit. Blocks of sewers creates.
Flushable wipes, designed to be flushed.
No such thing. No such thing. The only thing that's designed to be flushed.
It's
is
a treasure.
toilet paper.
It's a treasure. It's like a kiss on the bottom. It's a kiss on the bottom.
It just pollutes.
A nice wet kiss.
It pollutes the environment.
Nice
Sorry,
wet kiss, rather than a dry lick.
it's worse than trash.
It's better than a cat's tongue on your bum. It's a nice wet relief. So it's a treasure. Next one.
Not going well so far.
So far, no points.
Don't like
No
this.
Frozen herbs.
What?
Frozen herbs.
You can buy frozen herbs.
Trash. Either get them fresh or dried. Who freezes herbs? Trash. What a waste.
Treasure.
It's a treasure.
You just guessed that. You don't know. You didn't have any
1 point to
rationale.
Simon. Why is it a treasure? It's a treasure because
Freshness.
because you don't waste any herbs then because they get frozen and then they stay fresh for ages. And very well saying that dried herbs are better,
herbs.
but it doesn't taste the same. So next,
Have you been going to Waitrose for this list?
well, read into this what you will. But I wrote this list on the toilet. Level 42. Trash or treasure?
Treasure.
Treasure.
Yes, treasure.
Yeah.
No one could write a bass line like that.
I know, right? Excellent music. Gammon.
What? Sorry, define gammon.
Trash or treasure?
Gammon the meat.
Gammon the meat or
Piglet.
gammon the person?
Gammon? What, like Harry Gammon?
Like Angry Thumb, Northern Man.
Either
The
way.
meat.
Either way, trash.
Trash.
It's trash.
It is trash.
So, Simon, you're still ahead by 1. Leave-in conditioner.
I don't have a lot of experience.
Trash. Don't even wash your hair. Just rinse it.
I'm going to go with treasure.
It's a treasure.
Oh, what?
Leave-in conditioner.
Are you a woman?
Oh, it's a game changer. Game changer.
Danny, your hair's looking great today. Like.
Speaking as someone who has loss of hair.
Simon's too
maybe-
ahead. You need to get yourself
Maybe I
some.
should learn, yeah.
Next one. Nick Cave. Trash or treasure?
Trash.
Trash.
Trash. Absolute trash.
Yeah.
What a crock of shit. Next one. Veganism. Trash or treasure?
Treasure. So no way to save the world.
I'm going to go neutral.
No, you have
can't.
to choose.
I'm going to have a moment of diplomacy and go somewhere in between.
No. Pick one.
Treasure.
I think that's a fail, that's a loss.
Come on.
I am
Now you're balls
very
to the wall.
diplomatic.
To say one or the other. Veganism.
You in my house.
Trash or treasure? There is a right answer.
We all know which way this is going, don't we, Danny?
Do we?
Treasure.
It's a treasure.
Oh, good man.
Great for the earth. Next one. Vegans.
Oh, interesting. Treasure. Gotta be. They're the ones
Trash.
who are doing the work.
It's a trash. Vegans are a piece of shit.
Oh, damn it.
So, 3 ahead. To Simon. Trash or
I
treasure?
didn't think you were so good at this game. It's good.
The letter H.
Simon?
Treasure.
Okay.
It can be dropped, it can be put in, it's fine, it's good.
Yeah, I mean, does it do much for us? It's quite a soft letter. I feel like the language could lose it and not suffer trash.
Well, it's incorrect. It's a treasure.
Oh, damn.
Because, in my eyes, it's a great letter because you can drop it when you like, and it's also a secret vowel.
Is it really?
It is a secret vowel.
Interesting.
Harmonicas.
Treasure.
Treasure.
Trash.
Ugh.
All the worst songs have harmonicas in it. And I'll put you to one artist in particular, Bruce Springsteen.
I would actually argue it is a treasure because it's the one thing to save you in prison from being arse raped.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to go into the hillbilly.
What? What you mean? Because if you've got a harmonica up your bum, it's hard to get another thing up there.
No, if you're playing it, you're obviously a slight redneck and no one's going to touch you.
Also, I feel like you're expressing a little bit
Because you
of
spoil
racism
goods.
there. So it's associated with the post-slave music. You know, a lot of black people played harmonica in the post-slave era.
Do you think it just sounds awful?
I mean,
Well, I'm a quizmaster, so
Okay.
The Industrial Revolution.
treasure. I mean, it drove us to where we are. We lost our culture, but you know. Did you add that one on just now, by the way?
No,
You wrote that before
I
you
got stuff
came
underneath
here.
it.
As someone who was just listening to a documentary about the crisis of capitalism,
Oh, trash. It fucking ruined our culture. Yeah, I remember what I said.
I'm going to have to go treasure.
It's a treasure.
Oh my god.
Four
that's
ahead.
terrible, this quiz.
We wouldn't be anywhere without the Industrial Revolution.
We'd have our culture. We'd
Whoa.
still live in happy lives playing folk music
No, absolutely not.
in pubs in the countryside.
Right. Now for the possible controversy. Townsend's 4-course crop rotation.
Uninformed about that one, but I'm in favour of crop rotation, so treasure.
I'm going to go with trash.
Oh, it's a treasure. It's all about proper maintenance of soil and being able to utilise it.
That
All the way
was,
through
that
the
was
year.
the tiebreaker as well. That was the one. So I think overall, is that a draw?
No, you're still 3. Right. Okay, this might get you for you. 2 more left. See,
I'm like 4 points behind, but
No,
I'll play on.
Nicolas Cage.
Treasure.
Trash.
Whoa!
Death to the west.
Treasure.
One of the
Two
most
behind.
I'm sorry,
important
that is
actors in
the-
generation.
I have seen jihadi wars started over less.
He's one of the few actors of our generation who are doing any important work.
Gone in 60 seconds. Face Off.
The Wicker Man. I mean,
The Wicker Man. The remake of The Wicker Man. I've never seen such a brilliant remake.
he is a good actor who acts in an interesting. Some would call it bad. He is, if I may.
Ghost Rider. National Treasure.
Yeah, there we go.
Con Air.
He is what?
Put the bunny
Nick
back
Cave.
in the basket.
You should have put the bunny in the basket. He is what Nick Cave was trying to be in that fucking bullshit, but didn't manage. Nick Cave is doing that. He's living his life. Yeah. Treasure.
Of course, Treasure. Obviously, Treasure.
Clearly, treasure.
Why would anyone say anything else? Name one bad film that he's been in.
All of them.
No, that's the man that doesn't know how to put it back down. Final one. Although Simon's he's won it. So
Yeah.
Despite that
final one. A chest of gold.
insanity.
Chest of gold. Seems like an obvious treasure.
Does seem like an obvious treasure.
It's literally a treasure. And that concludes Trash or Treasure.
Ah, that was hard. That was really hard. Especially.
I think we all got a lot from that.
Yeah. Mm.
I think we learned a lot about ourselves.
Yeah.
And Nicolas Cage, for some reason.
Thank you for tuning in to 1001 Albums Before Death. Bye.